Yeah, exactly.
Okay, you can go now.
Are you all ready for me? All right, James, you live? All right. How's everybody doing tonight? All right. So thank you, everybody, for coming. It's District 4 Town Hall meeting, as you see up here. The next slide, James. So some of the meeting agenda items here you're going to see, we're going to talk about tonight, as we normally do, our Hometown Hero banner program, our military support that we have here in the great city of Santee. Some of the cool special events coming up with our Santee Salutes America on the 250th birthday. Some of our fire department updates and our station updates. So actually I brought Chief Wallace in. So you guys talk a little history tonight about the town hall, but I haven't had a fire chief every year, a couple times, but it's really important. Some of the stuff we're gonna talk about tonight. Some of our homeless efforts, coordination and efforts that we have in the city. Obviously our road improvements and traffic mitigation. This is a big one. If you followed the last 6 years of my council tenure, this is one of the top 3 things, and it probably is the most important thing that I've been able to accomplish within our my district and the city wide is our prioritization of our road improvements. Some of the economic development, so some of the cool new businesses we got coming, some that we just recently got here in the city of Santee, future development and active projects, and our new community center. And so if you guys are not aware, that did break ground. We'll talk about that a little bit here later. And some did you knows about the city, so something we knew that we added this year. So every year that we've done this, I think James is our 6th year. Yeah, so from 2020 to now, I've done this town hall every single year. And it's almost become, jokingly, our state of the city, our address to the state of the city. And, you know, it's an update of what's happening, not only for my district, but really citywide, what all the accomplishments that we've gotten done in the past year and what's coming here to the future. So it's a citizen participation that we obviously want. It's a transparency in government that I'm trying to bring to us, you know, here. And, you know, we do this every year to show you guys, you know, what we're doing, answer the questions, the hard questions, the easy questions, the softballs Renee give me sometimes, you know, right? James, go to the next slide. Yeah. So guys, we've talked about this almost each and every year that we've been up here. I always start out with our awesome Veterans Memorial here in Santee that we built. And if you guys know, in 2020 on Veterans Day, we dedicated this awesome memorial there. It's our Santee Veterans Memorial, and also the bridge that goes over Santee Lakes is our Veterans Memorial Bridge. So the following year, we started our Hometown Hero banner program. And those banners get alternated off the bridge every 4 months. So we take the 12 banners that are currently on there, they get rotated off every 4 months, and then they've kind of grown along Mass Boulevard. If you guys traverse through Mass Boulevard, the theory was, when I first started it, that we would go from like West Hills High School, or West End at the top of the hill there, down to about Carlton Hills. That's where I thought it was going to stretch to. Well, where we are now is that this banner program has gone all the way to the city limits where the landfill is now, the city of San Diego, and we're all the way to Cuyamaca. And this will keep on going down Mass Boulevard in the future, and we'll get past Magnolia here at some point and fulfill that whole stretch of the light poles. And you can see 132 veterans have been honored here in the city of Santee with their picture, their name, and their branch of the military up there. The floral arrangements, we change out every year on Memorial Day and Veterans Day. So coming up here on Memorial Holiday to honestly honor the fallen soldiers that we have. America's 250 specialty banners have gone up on the bridge also, and you see those through some of the things throughout the city here. Our veteran photo palooza is coming up August 15th. It's a special America 250. Go to the next slide for the James. Some more military support. So tomorrow, if you guys aren't aware, we're actually having a chain of command in one of our adopted battalions. So in the city of Santee, we have 2 adopted battalions, our HMH 462, which is a heavy helicopter battalion out of Miramar. We have our 2nd Battalion, 1st Marines out of Camp Pendleton. So tomorrow, our Camp Pendleton is having a regime change, and the city of Santee obviously not only adopts these battalions, but we do multiple things throughout the year for those adopted battalions. You'll see some of those things, active deployments when the soldiers go out for deployment, we do some care packages for them, or when they come back from deployment, we have care packages that we send up there for them. All these things that we fundraise for and help to make their transitional easier. Our Buddy's Backpack program that we started many years ago with Rob, Buddy, and John and myself. I think John, are we on 11 years, 12 years? 12 years, yeah. We instituted also backpacks for our military children out of that program too. So not just the students here in the city of Santee and our local, but we actually added the military backpacks to those kids. Our Santee Salutes is our military appreciation. You guys know our 4th of July celebration, Independence Day. We celebrate here in our city park. The Marine Corps Ball, many of us, all our council members have gone to the Marine Corps Ball. Some annually every year, some alternating, but each one of us have represented the city of Santee here with our Marine Corps Ball. And the Heroes Golf Tournament coming up here on May 29th. That is actually a fundraiser for the Marine Corps Ball. So it's to help our adoptive battalions to be able to pay for that Marine Corps Ball. The next one, James. So our Santee Salutes America 250. Has everybody seen a lot of these logos around town? Seen some of this marketing that's been going on and stuff? The city of Santee, we really dove into this because of the patriotism we have here in the city and what we truly believe. And you see it obviously with the Veterans Memorial, the Hometown Hero Banner Program, and our Independence Day celebration, Santee Salutes. This year we added, I want to say another $50,000 that we were able to fundraise for and got some contributions to really beef this up, really get more of this symbolic 250 throughout the city. So some of the pictures you see there with the challenge coins, some of the flags, some of the flower arrangements, the cups over at the Town Center Park. I don't know if you've seen that yet over in Town Center. So as we go forward into our summer program, you guys will see a lot of these things rolling out with our special events staff and stuff. And there's a QR code there. If anybody wants to grab that or catch it later, kind of links you back into what we got going on. And lastly is our Sammy. Anybody seen Sammy Santee here? Santee Sammy. This is kind of our little mascot for the summer. We have a QR code throughout the city to kind of do a little scavenger hunt and some the fun games and different things for participation. The next one, James. So we have a nice fire department update for you guys, and I brought the chief here. Harley Wallace is our chief. Chief, how long you been our chief now?
Almost 1 year.
Almost
Just
1
under
year.
a year.
So when Chief Machishita retired, Harley was our deputy fire chief, and he became our interim fire chief, and then our permanent fire chief here last summer, right? Roughly?
Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
So interim fire chief last May and permanent fire chief in August.
Okay. I'll let you take it off here for these several slides.
All right. Thank you. So, I appreciate the opportunity to talk to you a little bit about some of the developments happening in the fire department. So I want to start with a couple things we added last year. Pictured are two of our newest apparatus. In the bottom left is Brush 5. It's a Type 3 fire engine that was put in service at Fire Station 5 in August of 2025. We were able to acquire this apparatus with predominantly funding from the San Diego Regional Fire Foundation and the San Diego River Conservancy, who provided grant funding for that apparatus. And then just last month, we took delivery of a new Type 1 fire engine, which is pictured up in the top right corner. That will be engine 20 when it's placed in service in about a month after we finish a little bit of outfitting on it. That was funded through the City of Santee General Fund, and that apparatus was actually ordered in July of 2022 and delivered to us a couple months ago. It will become the new engine 20. It's going to replace a 15-year-old engine that'll be put into reserve status that's currently in service at Station 20. Next, James. So a couple of things that we've been doing. On April 1st, we put a new basic life support ambulance in service that's staffed with 2 EMTs from 10 a.m. until 10 p.m. That went in service at Fire Station 5.
So, Chief, how many ALS and how many BLS ambulances do we have now in the city? So we added another one.
So with that addition, we have 2 24-hour paramedic ambulances in Santee, and we have 2 basic life support ambulances that run during the day, one from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. and one from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. So during the peak hours, we have 4 ambulances within the city. Overnight, we have 2, and then we also run our EMS service or ambulance service in conjunction with Lakeside Fire. So system-wide, we have 7 ambulances during the day and 5 overnight with the Lakeside ambulances as well. Last October, we opened Interim Fire Station 20 at our Public Works Yard. That's Santee's 3rd operational fire station. From 1964 up until that station opened, we had 2 fire stations serving the community of Santee. We'd had a couple relocations and remodels of stations in that time, but 2 fire stations up until October when we were able to open Interim Fire Station 20 over at our Public Works Yard. And we are currently in the design and environmental review plans for an additional station, an interim fire station to go into Woodland Vista Park to service northeastern Santee, and that would become our 4th operational station. And pictured in the bottom right is what you're seeing there is the former ball fields at the northeast corner of Woodland Vista Park. That's where we're looking to put this interim fire station. The buildings in red would be the footprint should the city put a permanent station there in the future. The buildings in white kind of along the bottom right of that picture shows where we would put an interim station and how we'll do it in a way that could allow construction of a future permanent station while the interim station's ongoing and operational. So that's something we're working towards and hope to bring to the city in the future.
The significance of this, you guys, it's a combination of the response times from our ambulances and our fire station, our fire engines, excuse me, and the utilization of our apparatus, how much they go out. And so by having a 4th station, obviously gives us much better coverage, but this is significantly actually adds not only the 4th station, but a station in every single district in our city, which we've never had. We've always had 2 stations, one located over near Carlton Hills and then obviously over by the water district now, and then obviously the one we have at Cottonwood, excuse me. But over where the new one is the Ops Yard, that's in District 3, Laura's district, and then this one will be in District 1 with Rob. So we actually have put one in every district going forward when we get this one completed. So pretty significant.
And this would take response times for parts of this northeastern part of Santee that are currently about 10 minutes and bring them down to under 6 minutes. So it would make a very significant improvement in our response for emergencies in northeastern Santee. I want to briefly recap the town center incident that we had just 1 month ago. A pretty substantial fire that I'm sure most of you are aware of that burned in the river bottom between Walmart and the residential communities just south of Food for Less. So that fire broke out on March 29th at 6:30 in the evening. The total incident duration was just under 2 days, 46 hours, 45 minutes, but we did have forward rate of spread of that fire stopped in about 2 hours. The mop-up was very extensive because of the marsh in the area where it was burning. But within about 2 hours, we had the threat to businesses and residences mitigated, and the forward rate of spread was stopped. It did burn approximately 10 acres. Shortly after it broke out, we had to evacuate the Walmart, the Michaels, the commercial buildings along there, several other businesses. Those businesses did have to remain closed overnight until the next morning due to fire operations in the area. The cause of that incident is currently undetermined. At the peak of that incident, we had 6 chief officers, 11 Type 1 engines, which is when I showed new engine 20 a few minutes ago, the large, what we consider structural firefighting engines, 7 Type 3 engines, which was the Brush 5 picture we just showed. We had 1 helicopter. It was San Diego City's Type 1 water dropping helicopter, Copter 3, and that helicopter made 20 water drops. Each of those is about 1,000 gallons. So over the course of about 90 minutes, they were able to drop 20,000 gallons of water for us. They were filling out of Lake 1, so they had a very quick turnaround from the Santee Lakes. We had our squad, a water tender, a paramedic ambulance, a 20-person hand crew from CAL FIRE, a ladder truck due to the threats to some of the commercial structures there, and Lakeside's volunteers. We had close to 100 firefighters actively engaged at the peak operations, as well as our sheriff's deputies who were supporting with evacuations and helping primarily with evacuations and traffic control. Show you guys a couple pictures. So this is the aftermath. This is looking east towards Cuyamaca of the fire area. This is looking more northeast towards River Rock Court and Brookview, just south of Food for Less. This is what's kind of referred to as the island. It's an island there in the middle of the river that was almost completely consumed. This is looking more south towards town center and some of the businesses and commercial buildings that were threatened. And this is looking back to the west towards Walmart and again towards some of the businesses that were evacuated. I want to spend a couple minutes talking about our defensible space maintenance and what we've been doing here in the city of Santee. So since 2020, we've been doing annual defensible space maintenance to create defensible space between the San Diego River Corridor and some of our more threatened businesses and residential communities. And I want to highlight in this map where you see the 7, 8, and 9 kind of in the center, lower center left. Those are 3 of the defensible space maintenances that our Public Services Division has been maintaining. And those are all directly north of the fire that just burned in Town Center. And actually alongside the communities on Brookview and River Rock Court. And those were the communities that were initially threatened by that fire. And we did see that those defensible space areas were very effective. As the fire started to burn out of the river bottom, the progress was really slowed as it was going to the north and approaching the communities due to some of those efforts that the city's been doing the last 5 years. Also, if you look to the right of the screen, you'll see spaces 2 and 4. We started clearing those also in 2020. And if you remember Thanksgiving Day of 2021, we had a pretty significant fire that burned out of the river bottom, started in the Walker Preserve and kind of burned into some of that adjacent open space to the north. And we saw the same thing in that fire, that the defensible space was very effective in helping protect the threatened communities along the border of that fire. I'll spend a couple minutes talking about the FEMA Hazard Mitigation Grant that the city's been working with. As a lot of residents are aware, in June of 2024, we were awarded a grant that we had applied for. We applied back in 2022. And this was a grant that was awarded to Cal OES, that's the California Office of Emergency Services. And the city of Santee applied through Cal OES for a grant that Cal OES was getting from FEMA for hazard mitigation in vulnerable areas. And so we are what's considered a subrecipient. Cal OES is the grant administrator. Again, FEMA's providing it, and we're a subrecipient to Cal OES. The project that we proposed was a $7.2 million total project. So that project cost encompasses a 90% FEMA contribution, which is about $6.5 million. And we had a required local match of $728,000 under the terms of the grant. We were very fortunate that the San Diego River Conservancy, again, I mentioned earlier, they provided a lot of funding for Brush 5. They also provided a very generous grant of $907,000 to cover our local share and allow us to move forward and assist with obtaining this hazard mitigation grant. That is a little bit more than the local match we were required, and the rest of that money is also available to us. So we really have, an additional $200,000 thanks to the River Conservancy. What's also important to note is that the grant was awarded in 2 phases. So we do not just receive a $6.5 million check. It's a 2-phase grant, and we are awarded phase 1 to conduct an environmental impact report, complete permitting, and prepare what's called fuel treatment plans, which is basically a parcel-by-parcel list of what we propose to do mitigation-wise on all the parcels that encompass the grant territory. We need to then submit that to Cal OES and FEMA. They review that, and they then give us approval to move forward and the funding to move forward with phase 2. And phase 2 is the physical fuel modification we're planning. So that's kind of the steps in executing this grant and moving forward. And again, the completion of phase 1 deliverables satisfactory to FEMA and Cal OES's review is required before we can move forward to phase 2. This map shows the project area that will be covered by this grant. So everything in blue, and as you'll see, this project area stretches from the red hashed line is City of Santee boundary. So it stretches from, at the top right, our eastern boundary with San Diego County, through the whole river corridor to our western boundary with the City of San Diego. And this is the area that will be included with this work. And I'm just going to wrap up with kind of where we're at now with the grant. So we are currently working towards the completion of the phase 1 deliverables. The draft environmental impact report is currently under review. In February, we had the scoping meeting for the EIR, which was a public meeting held here at City Hall, where we basically presented what the concept and the scope of the project is going to be. The public comment period for the EIR will start in early summer. We are working towards a city council hearing for the EIR in August. And then pending council certification, we'll be able to submit our phase 1 deliverables to Cal OES and FEMA. As many of you might be aware, FEMA is under the Department of Homeland Security for federal government funding. They just today, I believe, are now coming out of a 75-day shutdown. So that has impacted us a little bit in that we need to work through Cal OES and FEMA with this grant. I think it's very encouraging now that that branch of the federal government will be funded. And working with Cal OES, we expect a 1 year, a timeline for approval that is likely to exceed 1 year. So that's our best estimate at this point, for when we expect approval to move forward with phase 2. In the meantime, we will continue our defensible space maintenance and our local efforts to maintain fuel breaks and protect our communities. But we're excited that as we get to move forward with this larger grant, in addition to reinforcing some of our existing defensible fuel or defensible space, we'll also be able to remove a lot of the non-native fuels that are within the river corridor. And I'm sure a lot of you saw some of the video from the town center fire of some very intense, very active fire behavior in that first 2-hour period. And a lot of that was burning is that non-native fuel, some of the grasses and palm trees and things that we are going to work to remove completely through the river corridor as we move through this grant. And Councilmember Trotter, that's what I had for my update.
Thank you, Chief. So Chief's going to stay with us, you guys. So when we do the Q&A part of the program here at the end, got any questions for him, get that together. So the homeless coordination efforts, you guys, this has been a big deal really since coming out of COVID in 2020. We have always continued to do that, the effort, and you see some of these efforts that we've been doing. The 2025, we had 23 cleanups completed in the city with 318 volunteers, removing 66,325 pounds of trash, most by the River Park Foundation. Thank you, Gary. Where are you at? Oh, don't hit Renee, please. That's Renee's side. Riverbed homelessness has been reduced by 78% here in the city of Santee. And we're not naive, guys. You heard me say this many times each year, that we're not naive where our problem areas are. We know where they are. We identify them. We work on it. Our staff goes down there, clears these encampments. So 119 at the highest peak, down to 26 individuals in the last count here, the last couple years. So it's an encampment reduction of 84%, from 50 encampments down to 8 since January 2024. And that's the effort of our public works staff and some of the staff that we have, and obviously the volunteers that go down and clean a lot of this trash and debris. And the trash and debris is not solely just from some of the homeless and there. It does come from the other waterways like El Cajon through Forester Creek. Some washes into Santee, stuff like that too. So we couldn't clear as much trash as we do without obviously the great volunteers in the city. Next slide, James. Talking about our public works staff and some of our engineering department. This is a big thing, you guys, are citywide street resurfacing. So top there says, obviously, the citywide paving projects completed from 2020 to 2025, over $18.5 million. So 247 of our 508 streets have been repaved in one fashion or another, some kind of treatment to those streets. 58 of 162 streets were in District 4. It was the largest district between that period in 2020 and 2025 to get resurfaced. And that was the reason it's because that was the worst part of our city at that time. When we do our studies and we found out that we do all the mapping of the streets and stuff, that was just had to be the worst area. So very blessed that we were to be able to get so much done in my district. Citywide though, major streets have been completed in 2025. Cuyamaca from SR 52 off ramp to SR 52 East off ramp, Fanita Drive from Mission Gorge to the city limits, Mission Gorge to Rancho Fanita Drive to Father Hinapadero Serra Trail, traffic reductions, smart signal sensors, and yellow flashing turn signals at the busy intersections. Next slide, James. So the resurfaced streets here within my district, you see 2020 to 2025. There's a whole list of them there, and they're in green, primarily in the map there. Next one, James. So citywide, though, Citywide servicing, this is the future projects coming up right now. So 2026 through 2027 up and coming, these are the streets that are going to get paved in 26, as you see the list, and the streets that are getting paved in 27. So summer 26 coming up here. This summer, we have over $6 million budget for our streets. Citywide, 23 total streets to be paved. In District 4, 15 streets. Major streets citywide coming up here is Cuyamaca. So Cuyamaca from Mission Gorge all the way up to Mass Boulevard. Really in front of the school district there, Diane, that whole section. Mass Boulevard from Fanita Parkway over to Carlton Hills Boulevard. And then Mass Boulevard from Cuyamaca all the way to Grand Teton. So Grand Teton's just past Magnolia, you guys. So that whole stretch is a very bad stretch. And Mass has been deferred for a little while on our part, primarily because of the Advanced Water Purification Project. So have you seen them dig up the streets multiple times? Has nothing to do with the city of Santee. Has to do with the water purification project that's going through there, but they've had to continue to do the work through that section. And so we've deferred that work because we don't want to put the taxpayers' dollars into the streets until it's ready to go and, and not be dug up again. So next, James. Some economic development, you guys. We had some cool things happen here in the past year. So some of the business at the stand, Pizzabilities, Great Greek Mediterranean Grill, Gentai Street Food in Sizzling Saigon. But the new businesses are coming. Everybody wants to know what's happening, what's new, what's coming, right? So 85 Degree Bakery, anybody know where that's at? No? Yes? No? I got yeses and no's, right? So it's apparently a very popular place. I've never personally been there, but I will partake when they open here in Santee. Over there in Town Center, kind of near where Walmart is, or Dairy Queen, kind of right next door to Dairy Queen there. They're getting really, really close to opening, you guys. So you'll hear within the next week or so, I think, some information on their grand opening or soft openings or whatever they start off with, right? Second one here, a highlight, Better Buzz. Anybody know where that's going? Yeah, so you probably saw in the last week, about a week ago, KFC closed down. So, we had the long-going jokes about the number of chicken shops we got. We were ready to reduce that here in the city, right? So we got a little bit less chicken, but we got a coffee place that we don't have right now going in there. So right on the corner of Cuyamaca and Mission Gorge. You see the defenses up there now. They took the signage down, so actively working on that. Cafe 88, this is over in the Vaughn's, old Rite Aid shopping center right in there. Heritage Steakhouse. Anybody know where that's at? So this is a big deal, you guys. Everybody ask about, are we ever going to get a high-end steakhouse in this city? Or are we going to get a nice seafood place, or a little finer dining and stuff? And this will be, a real steakhouse. And the last steakhouse I could ever remember was Pinnacle Peaks. You remember when Pinnacle Peak was here, and you didn't wear a tie there because you got that cut off. I think you're allowed to wear a tie here if you so choose. And I think the expectation is a little nicer dress, and something nice to have a nice date night out or a special celebration. So, and then Wing Factory. So another wing place. So we replaced the KFC with another chicken wing place. So hey, what are we gonna do? Yeah. Some more economic development, not so much on the restaurant side. You guys have seen the Minoso, it replaced where the Party City was. Sedano Chevrolet, obviously, it's been open about a year now and do real well there on the corner. You're going to see some more activity there on that old school site. They're getting ready to start phase 2, which is the collision center and the car wash over there pretty soon. Wood Spring Suite, over more on the west side of town. Right when you get off the off-ramp there, next to Phil Thero's Auto Works on Mission Gorge. Extended stay hotel suites. I think we already talked about Great Greek Mediterranean Grill. You Build at Santee. National chains that are coming. We kind of just talked about a few of them, but BMO Bank and Valvoline has a location, like an instant oil change on Mission Gorge coming. So if you guys have seen this map, our engineering department, our planning department, our building department puts this together for us here in the city, and you can see all the active projects that we have in the city. Some of them are housing projects, some of them are commercial projects, some are cell phone towers. I mean, it's a whole array of different types of projects that are happening within the city of Santee. So this map is on our city website. You can see it anytime. You can download it. You can see interactively, the things that are happening throughout the city. And you see a lot of those different colors representing either under construction, approved but not built, or pending entitlement. So you'll see where the different projects and what type of projects those are throughout the city with this map. Next one, James. The community center. Has anybody gone by the YMCA lately? So right there next to the YMCA, we're building our brand new community center here in the city of Santee. And this is something that citizens have been asking for a very, very long time. And I'm very blessed that myself and my four colleagues on the council here were able to get this done for you guys. This is a 12,500 square foot building. Senior and teen programming will run out of this facility now. We're consolidating that into one location. Community groups, rentable spaces, our backup emergency operations center will actually be located here at this facility. So we have our primaries here at City Hall, and we have a second location off-site here in case there's an emergency here. We cannot operate our emergency services. We have a backup location to help protect the city. The first floor is more an event center. Inside capacity, you see there, the first floor event center also has an outside patio. The second floor has a multi-purpose room, outdoor patio and deck. So the upper floors can have a very vast view over the town center park, east in the back there, kind of the not really just the parking lot, but more the park area and stuff. You can kind of see the landscape back there. So it's really cool. This is going to take about a year and a half, 18 months. So sometime the end of next year, right, Carl? Should be done? Next summer. I was going to say more fall of next year, which should be done. But what you got, if you drive over in that area, drive over to Sportsplex or to the YMCA, what you see actively, not the physical building coming up yet, but obviously all the preparations in the parking lot. What you do see is the new parking lot that's being put in right now. Because we are taking out parking spaces to build this new building, the new facility, we're actually adding a brand new parking lot, which will net us an extra 15-ish parking spaces, something like that, Carl? Yeah, give or take, somewhere in there. Trying to remember the exact numbers, but we're currently building the new parking lot right now, so that will be open prior to the real construction happening so that way we replace those parking spaces. A little more information about it. I didn't realize there was another slide, so thanks, James. Total cost of this project, just under $27 million. So the primary funding for this, you see in here, is all developer fees and money. So development impact fees, public facility fees, park and lieu development fees that can only be used for this type of project. And you see a picture down in the bottom, not only the groundbreaking on the left, but a picture of the new parking lot being constructed right now in front of the YMCA itself. We broke ground back in February, like we mentioned, and we're supposed to be done sometime, fall of next year on phase 2. So the parking lot will be completed in front of the YMCA this year in June-ish, summertime. So. All right, some little fun facts we added into the town hall, you guys, now. So does everybody know that the city of Santee contracts with the San Diego County Sheriff's Department to provide our law enforcement to our community, and we do not own our own police department? Yep. So that's probably a pretty easy one overall, right? Padre Dam and Santee Lakes and the Santee School District are separate public entities from the city of Santee. They have their own board of directors, and they have their own decision-making power. The city has no input or jurisdiction over their agencies. The AWP project I mentioned earlier, so the Advanced Water Purification Project, is not coordinated or implemented by the city of Santee. It is overseen by the East County Advanced Water Purification Joint Powers Authority, which is a collaborative effort between Padre Dam Municipal Water District, the city of El Cajon, the county of San Diego, and Helix Water District. So do you see what municipality is not in that? The city of Santee. Even though we have a significant portion of that that's going through our city, we have no jurisdictional authority to this project. The city of Santee, we contract with the San Diego Humane Society for our animal control services. You guys know there's a new animal shelter being built off Magnolia right now? Have everybody seen that? So over off Magnolia, right where the old barn is, kind of right across from that, there's some new construction there. That's actually an animal shelter that is being built by the County of San Diego. The significance of that, and we talked about it when they started building it, is that the services are not provided to the city of Santee. Because it's a county animal shelter, we have to contract with a agency like San Diego Humane Society. So we are working on that as a staff. It sounds a little silly that we have an animal shelter in our city that we can't even go to. So when your dog gets lost out there, they pick it up, it goes down to the Humane Society and not to the closest animal shelter in our city. A little silly, in my opinion. We talked significantly to the county about this, and we're seeing if we can make some different arrangements because it just doesn't make sense at all. All right, this is a biggie change, you guys, right here. So our code enforcement, our parking code enforcement is handled by the San Diego County Sheriff's Office. So you see right there to report a non-emergency call, the new number that they have, 858-862-3200, is a brand new non-emergency number that the county has. Our parking enforcement is not done with our code enforcement. It's no longer in the city of Santee. It's done by the San Diego County Sheriff's Office. So that's a change that we've had recently within our city. So I thought it would be cool to give you guys some fun facts. Some of you guys may know this stuff, some may not, but there's a lot of understanding of jurisdictional boundaries and different authorities that govern our city. All right, coming to the end here of our cool finale. So I did a little history, and I told you this is our 6th town hall that we've done for District 4, doing it every year as a council member. And you see the lovely 5 people that are up there. So in 2021, my District 4 Person of the Year was Ms. Tanya Hendricks. So if you guys know her, she was a teacher at Santee School District for many, many, many years and is the president of the Santee Santas today and has volunteered there for quite a significant amount of time. The second lady to the right of that in 2022, Marty Smotherman. She has volunteered and ran our Santee Food Bank here in the city of Santee for numerous years, along with the council there. 2023, the gentleman in the middle, Michael Ranson, he helped me design that great Veterans Memorial that we have right there, along with a few other things of the Santee Lakes Foundation that he operates and runs today. The fourth one you see in 2024 is a lovely gentleman that actually is in the audience today. So Mr. Gary Strawn, all his efforts and all his years living here in the city of Santee, the different boards, he actually represents us, you guys, for a couple of agencies here, as your citizen representative here for the city of Santee. And is, he loves going down the river and playing down there a little bit, right, Gary? Last year, my friend Kristen Dare, lifelong citizen here in the city of Santee, so many things that she's done for our community here. So every year I get to pick a new person that lives within my district to kind of give them an award as a Santee Person of the Year. And there's not a rhyme or reason or why or how. It's just a significant community contribution that each one of us have. And kind of we talked about this. Why do we love Santee? Why do we live in Santee? It's because of the people that are in Santee. It's the community that we have. And every one of these people, everybody in this audience will tell you the same thing. They'll help you out. You need that cup of sugar. You need that pop or something on a hot day. Anybody in this town will do that for anybody, I promise you. So this year, we have a brand new recipient for this year, my friend Sarah Wood. So Sarah, you guys, a little information about her. Sarah owns a business here in town called Allegiance Heating and Air Conditioning. It's a family-owned business that her father started, and she took it over from there after he passed in 2009, growing it from a one-person shop to a full team that they have today. She's a licensed contractor, 100% female-owned business here since 2025 in the city of Santee. San Diego native, 35 years of community roots here in the city, committed to quality service, comfort, affordability solutions for home and businesses. A little plug for her business. Obviously, an active member of our community, supporter of the military, and a sports enthusiast with her kids. Her daughter's currently off on a softball scholarship. One of her daughters, the young one, she's off on Ashley's scholarship out in Arizona right now, so playing softball. So, yeah, another picture there, James. So, a couple more pictures with Sarah. See her husband David over there on the left. Obviously, family and everybody there. So, everybody say congratulations to Sarah today. Is that the last slide? All right, questions and answers. Who's firing off today? So let me ask everybody real quick. Was that informative for anybody? Everybody enjoy these things? So as I look out in the audience, obviously I see a lot of familiar faces, a lot of the same faces. But I'll tell you right now, I think this one's a little lighter than last year, if I remember. But we get more people these darn towns.
Better buzz and I see Carl sitting over here. Is somebody looking at the driveway? So is it?
Carl, can you grab the mic? Because we need to get on record. You know how it goes.
Yeah, it's a contentious intersection, and it's difficult because it exits from Cuyamaca Street onto it. So we're looking at alternatives for how they're stacking and queuing. So there's going to be some modifications how they queue. We call that they're stacking in. So with our traffic engineers, we looked at similar locations and how it would work, and we're conditioning them to make modifications and improvements so that we try our best to not impact Cuyamaca Street.
Okay, thanks.
Two questions. The Veterans Bridge and the flags, are these deceased members of the military?
Not necessarily.
Active?
Some are active and some are deceased. It's a combination.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And the other thing is, what happened to the people? You said there was 119 homeless and now there's 26. So where did all those people go?
I have no idea. The only reason we have those stats is because we have what's called a point in time count. So people go down there between the county agencies and the River Park Foundation. They go down and hope that we would hope someone moved on to other areas, because here's the reality, guys. At the end of the day, I've said this a couple times sitting up here on the dais, is do you drive down Mission Gorge? Do you drive down Cuyamaca? Do you drive down Magnolia? And I ask that question because do you see a tent on our city streets? You don't see it in our city. And it's because this council is extremely proactive and our law enforcement is proactive to make sure that those things are not in our community, the things we don't want. And so what I mean by the homeless down in the river is that, unfortunately, these are drug encampments. The majority are not doing the things that are unlawful. And by doing that, we force them out of our city. I have no idea where they go. Hopefully they get help. But you make them uneasy. When you leave them alone and you don't kind of push them to either or offer them help, they're just going to sit there. And so we are very active to make sure that we try to keep our waterways clean, that we don't have the fires. Do you guys remember, a lot of you guys are citizens for a long time, do you remember in 2020, 2021, 2022, we were having a fire almost every single day in our riverbed. It was between somewhere on the east side to the central to the west side of Santee. Some of that was in the city of San Diego, where our boundaries work. But we were having a fire almost every day or every other day. And it was in nauseum, not the effort of our fire department and our guys, but Harley, I think that 1 year it topped out at 119 fires or something like that 1 year in the riverbed. It was obnoxious.
Yeah, we had one very high. I do have, in 2024, we had 86, and
Okay.
in 2025, we had 41.
Okay.
And for the first 4 months of this year, we've had 10. So
Okay.
we are seeing pretty significant reductions in the number of fires. Obviously, as we just saw, it only takes one under the right conditions to pose serious threats. So we want to work to fully eliminate them, but we have seen a significant decrease.
So, to your question, where they gone, I don't know. I'm hoping, again, let people get help. There's plenty of resources and plenty of help out there, available people, but we, just like Harley just said, our chief just said, we are one fire away from a catastrophe. If we lose a house or we lose a life because we didn't put our best foot forward or we didn't put every effort to make sure that we did it, it will haunt us for a long, long time. And we do everything we can to make sure that doesn't happen.
And our community is safer as a result.
Yeah.
Dustin, if I can help answer that question a little bit.
Oh, yeah, if you got some more insight, Gary, absolutely.
I've been doing those homeless counts along the river for a long time, and I can tell you that the numbers are true. Just in the last year, I led the group that went down Walker Preserve, and I think it was a year ago, maybe a year ago, January, there was 18 camps. This year I did it in January, and we did it again last month. There was one abandoned camp, but nothing active. The San Diego River Park Foundation, they're volunteers, and with some grants, I think some of them are state grants, there's some federal money there, works with Alpha Project and goes down, and I can pretty much guarantee you all of these people have been approached a number of times, offered alternatives, and a lot of them have been taking us up on it. But Dustin's right on. You just have to be down there. You can't just say, oh, it's okay to just sit here and pile up your trash and then light it on fire some night. Just can't let that happen. So the city's been really active, really helpful, and the volunteers are out there all the time. And I'm just here to say the numbers are real. We don't know how long it'll last, but right now there's not very many camps along the river.
Thanks, Gary.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Zach, and yes, I got to volunteer with the San Diego River Park Foundation recently as well. We got to go down. I actually got a private tour. Me and the park ranger got to take a walk. It was wonderful until we came up across a burning log randomly, and no encampments, no nothing, and it was really like jarring to see. Just walk up and saying like, "Oh, this log is on fire." And I mean, I'm not a detective, but you can easily tell that this log's been burning for hours and hours. So she was able to say, yes, this happens a lot. It's actually really consistent where people just light fires and walk away from them. I can tell you firsthand that it was pretty scary because I'm out there with her and we're just kind of walking around finding homeless encampments. The solution for that was contact the fire department and have them come down, waste resources, waste time for them to cut this log and throw it in the river. The fast solution that she had, she's like, I'll just come back with my chainsaw. She'll handle it. She doesn't work for Santee, but she's out here protecting Santee. And I was really proud to be able to be part of her and be able to support her in that and kind of go in places that she wouldn't be able to go because now there's not just her by herself. So I know you guys have probably talked about it in the past, but I do feel like that is an asset that Santee needs, is a designated park ranger for the riverfront, because then at least we have somebody that's supporting your efforts, our efforts on keeping Santee safe, as well as keeping the homeless population at bay as best as possible. So,
yeah, these are things we have talked about the council. We have our budget cycle going on right now, you guys. So the end of June is our fiscal year, runs from July 1 to June 30. And we're going through our budgets, and we're constantly looking at it. So this year, you'll see some new cameras coming in our budget for trail cameras and things like that. We have a very good trail system throughout the city. There's a lot of areas that maybe a lot of citizens don't actually go to and go see what's actually down the river in different areas and stuff. But it's actually some really cool stuff that you can go see. A lot of good flowers, good. I'm not a botanist by any means, I'm gonna get the names, but there's all kinds of wildlife, down there and stuff too. And, we actually have a real jewel in the middle of the city here that we want to protect. And to Harley's point about the FEMA grant and other efforts that we've made over the last 5 years with defensible space is that we want to go out and clear some of these things out for multiple reasons. The invasive species, that are kind of taken over, that Arunda and stuff that's there. But we want to also clear some of these paths and visible areas and stuff so people actually can see down there and also have better sight lines and visibility. So it's a combination of efforts to try to enhance that river corridor.
A couple of questions. One, the update or status of the cell tower at the lakes.
Santee Lakes, okay. Carl, you actually want to grab that because that falls in his department. That's the reason I'm deferring to him. It's under construction as far as I know.
Yeah, it's under construction. We issued them a permit, and they met all the conditions of the permit, and it's really kind of in the lakes and the permittee's hands right now. All we do is regulate the inspection, and there's not a lot from city's point of view other than making sure the electrical and the original location was defined in clear path, because a lot of that's unfortunately regulated by the FCC. There's only so much we can do to control cell towers and where they go. The FCC takes priority because communication is imperative. So there's rules and regulations that we have to follow, and it limits our ability on where they're placed, how they're used, and a lot of things. We do our best to locate them and work with the applicants to put them in appropriate areas, to disguise them, different things that we can do from site. You know, a lot of times people are talking about EMFs and things and the stuff associated with that. That's not something we regulated. That's regulated through the state, and there's allowable tolerances and things that are all through the state and the FCC, and we abide by those guidelines.
Like I said, the best I know is under construction right now, but that and the area that you're talking about north, Santee Lakes there, it's obviously been a big issue with the residents, the cell phone, reception. Yeah, I figured that's probably the case. So it's been a big. Second question?
Oh, just, well, I guess one would be Sycamore landfill. I know that I believe it's City of San Diego.
That's correct.
But the hillside, on both sides, but I'll just deal with the lake side. Do you know if there's any plans to mitigate how ugly the hillside is, coming in and make it look more natural?
Yes and no. So I know exactly what you're talking about. Some of the grading's kind of crested over and what's happening there. And a lot of citizens have asked me, oh, is the landfill growing over there? Are they adding more debris or over there? And they're not. And none of the debris is coming in that area. But so I want to say, Carl, again, I'm gonna refer to you again a little bit. So Carl's actually here, you guys, and this is a great resource. He's here. The landfill's only at like a 40% capacity right now, right? It's something in that neighborhood?
Yeah, there's quite a bit of capacity. In fact,
Yeah.
I mean, if you really want to go down a rabbit hole, I could give history. We actually sued the city of San Diego several years ago because they were going to raise it much higher. The final settlement agreement was they would make improvements, which still are in the works. We're actually to the intersection there and the traffic impacts, and that they could not exceed the highest peak of surrounding area. But again, we're very limited in landfill space in the county. There's only 2 landfills left in the county of San Diego, Otay and Santee. Miramar is still kind of going, but they have a very limited capacity. They're going to be grandfathering that out and out of capacity soon. So unfortunately, that whole entire canyon will eventually be full. That's not my issue.
Yeah.
It's the site.
Yeah.
Yeah, and unfortunately, part of the lawsuit, we were actually able to bring it to what you see. It was originally planned to be much higher and higher, and really we got to the point where we could only regulate it to the highest peak that was established out there, and we actually were successful with the lawsuit, and then some of the conditions where they have to make improvements to the mast. They haven't completed them yet. They're in the process, and some improvements to the ramps on the 52 to help with traffic impacts.
So to the blightness of the hill there, to the blightness of the hill, that will get vegetation in the future. There's no timeline to that, though, today.
Yeah,
If that really,
ultimately,
it
they'll
kind of
just
answers the question,
they'll
but
vegetate
there's no
as
clarity
natural
to
as
it.
they could. Right now, it's a current active.
Right.
And unfortunately, the terracing and what you're going to see, it's not going to be a natural landform to make it blend anymore. The vegetation will eventually kind of take it over.
Right.
But if you see there's old landfills all around the county that still exist, and they have to monitor it for eternity because of the volatile gases and things that emit. So there's going to be pipes and standpipes and different things that have to be mitigated and maintained. So what you see, the only difference is you might see more vegetation established as time goes on.
Right.
I have 2 questions.
Yes, ma'am.
One, in certain areas in District 4, we still have power lines above. I was wondering, are they going to be buried underneath? Any timeline?
So that's a SDG&E issue, not a City of Santee issue. So the SDG&E would make that decision ultimately if they wanted to underground them because they own those power poles and the power lines.
So we don't know anything.
There's no timeline currently right now to ever see that happen. And in my lifetime, I can tell you it probably won't ever happen, but who knows? But it's an SDG&E issue.
Okay, and the second one, El Cajon has an arch that says El Cajon. La Mesa has an arch soon that's going to be put in. Is Santee going to have an arch?
We've talked about that in the past, and we've talked about improving our gateway signs at the different entrances of the, from City of San Diego to the City of El Cajon to the county, things like that. It's a budgeting issue ultimately, right? So if someone wants to fundraise for it and be the proud sponsor of a City of Santee arch, 100%, we'll look at best location for it and making a gateway to the city. But I can tell you right now, for myself and my other colleagues, I can kind of speak for them, but can't 100% speak for them. It's not the best use of our city funds today. We're limited on the funds that we have, and you'll see that in the next budget cycle coming up. I'll use the fire department. We have a brand new fire station we're trying to build right now, which is going to also require a brand new engine and 9 new personnel to staff that fire department. That's one of the priority projects that we have right now. So gateway sign, which will be pretty and, inviting to people to come to Santee. It's just, of my opinion, the fire station is a higher priority. So.
Thank you.
Thanks. Just to expand on that a little bit, I had read a while back that there was some thoughts about once that monstrosity goes in where the drive-in is, about using the Santee drive-in sign as an entrance.
That will be donated. I believe it goes to the Historical Society, though, not to the City of Santee. Carl, what is it? Oh, we got different information there?
So one of the conditions of approval of that is they would have to restore the sign and then give it to the City of Santee. To be honest, we haven't brought anything forward to council yet for a permanent location, but we've been looking at options to where to place it. Some of the initial thoughts, we recently approved a town center specific plan in an arts and entertainment district, is looking at options when development happens to maybe work with them to condition them, to maybe look at ways to entice them to build them as part of their project approvals. Those are things we're trying to work on behind the scenes. It's not necessarily in front of council yet.
Yeah,
because
I wouldn't say
we haven't
anything
taken ownership
about
of it yet, but we will take ownership. The City of Santee will take ownership of that historic neon sign is what you're referring to.
Right, yeah.
We're going to try to find an appropriate place to put it.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, that might be a great gateway sign into the
I think
city.
so.
It says Santee right on it, right? So,
The Santee and then drive in.
yeah. Got an arrow that way or this way or whichever way you go, right? So, all right, any other questions, you guys? All right on target, 7:30. That's 1 hour. You guys did a great. Thank you so much for showing up. We have a special council meeting on Tuesday. If you're not aware of it, come out and join us again on Tuesday. And obviously every second and fourth Wednesday of each month, you can come and see our 5 smiling faces up here. So thank you, guys.